I think fiction authors probably need to cover their ears for a moment, because this probably pertains to nonfiction authors. But I love to write short Kindle books, and in the book, it's basically a manifesto for writing short books, right? But can you talk about can you make the case for that? Like, why should authors these days consider writing shorter books?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of different reasons that I've sort of kind of uncovered as I was starting that process of like kind of narrowing down the length and scope. Um, for starters, the Kindle store there's so many books on the marketplace. So, and there's lots of different categories. So there are definitely niches that, people go to look for very specific kinds of books on something. So if I'm looking for a book on a topic, I don't want a book that's this massive, 100,000 word tome that covers, a fraction of one chapter on the subject I'm looking for. Like, I want an entire book that's, even if it's like 15,000 words, I want a book that specifically talks about that one specific thing I want to learn about. And that's kind of been how the Kindle store has evolved and allowed this to kind of happen over the past 5 or 6 years. I mean, since it's gaining more momentum, there's so much more variety and opportunities to kind of cut out all the fluff that you might traditionally think needs to go into a book, and just take that space and fill it with exactly like what people want, like the on point content, the very narrowly, you don't have to pad your word count. You just like really drill down deep on a subject and deliver value. And that's, the Kindle books are perfect for that, because they're only a couple bucks. People have gotten used to paying between 99 cents and $2.99 for a Kindle book. And, it's shifted people's expectations too. So people have shorter attention spans. And I mean, I certainly do. Like when I read a book, if it's more than like 30, 40,000 words, if it's a nonfiction book, I tend to, unless it's a really good book, I tend to kind of just like lose steam halfway through, because I'm super busy, and usually I buy books because I want to learn some new skill or pick up something that I didn't know. So if half of the book is just kind of waffling back and forth about things and it's not on point, I kind of lose interest. So short Kindle books really gives you an opportunity to kind of narrow your focus and complete projects in a shorter time frame. And it takes less time to research a book that, if you're doing something that's within the 20,000 word range or shorter, and you're going to be charging a couple bucks for it. So if you deliver that value and people enjoy it, it doesn't really matter the length if they're getting something out of it. So that there's a lot of different reasons to do shorter books, but I think it's certainly helped a lot of authors, and myself particularly, get over that hump of like writing a book where it feels like it has to be this like massive thing where it can take an entire year of planning and then a year of like writing and then editing and whatnot. I mean, you can write a book and get it edited and have it put together really nicely in a month. Mm-hmm. Most people probably could take a little bit longer than that, but like you could do, instead of doing one book every 2 years, you could do like 5 or 6 books a year. You could do 10 books a year. It's really just a matter of what is within the realm of what you're able to do. But there's so much potential to like turbocharge your writing world and like what you're able to accomplish in a given time frame. So if you have more books out in the marketplace, you're definitely going to have more opportunities to cross promote. You're going to be more visible. And just the nature of the Kindle store, where, you put a book out and after a month it goes off the sort of hot new release. If you manage to sell copies right up front, it gets going, you get that momentum, but then it's sort of after 30 days, you kind of drop off that, the new releases tab. So it's not considered as a new book, and it's not promoted as heavily through Amazon, even if you are continuing to maintain sales. So how do you keep up that momentum? Well, put out another book. And especially if you're writing books that are related, it really provides an opportunity to, instead of writing one massive book that takes so long, and it's just like you're writing one book and then you sell it and say it's 100,000 words, and then after that month it drops off the radar. Well, maybe you sold a lot of copies and it becomes a really good book, but like, then that's done. What's your next book going to be?